We are live, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's a great day out here. It's a little gloomy, but we just finished up a morning hunt. Today we're going to talk about deer hunting over acorns. You're going to want to stay tuned. We got Jeff here. We give you guys some information about this, kind of see what you guys are doing to kind of adjust your hunting strategies. If you guys are new to the channel, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below to let us know what your food source is in your current area or your property. Let us know the food source that you are currently utilizing, hunting over, or whatever that's in your area. And as the live chat here comes through, we'll try to see. Can you kind of keep an eye on that, the chat?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Because the chat comes in, it's kind of hard to see the chat as it comes through live, which I don't really, let's see. Super chat. Okay, I don't really see. I don't know if it's coming through or not. So anyway, guys, this is Jeff. I've known him for a couple years now. We used to work together. See that? We used to work together.
Used to.
Yeah, used to. So we did some hunting this year, and well, actually, it's only our second or third time we hunted together. But this is his property here. It's kind of like in a rural area. You know, it's good property. It's like what, 20 acres, 18?
It's about 18, 20 acres.
Okay, so it's like 8. You still have beans and standing corn. Awesome, Kirk. Beans
Cool, Kirk.
and standing corn. So we're out in Howard County, Maryland. Where all our hunting's pretty much Maryland. We'll be down in Florida later on, but everything's Maryland based now. So this is his property out in Howard County, and we were here roughly 7 weeks ago. We came through, did some scouting. He already had a stand set up in a good acorn flat area, and we came through, hung a tree stand, a filming stand, so we could do some filming together. And we went around, we sprayed all the natural browse and stuff with some antler grow. And at that time, acorns, I mean,
Everywhere.
they were everywhere. I mean, they were
Everywhere.
dropping, hunting and stuff with J&J. What's up, buddy? So I mean, they were literally dropping. I mean, there were so many white oaks.
It was
ridiculous. Crazy. I mean, we were literally just piles of them you're walking on. So that was roughly about 7 weeks ago. So we came back through opening weekend of deer season, which was like 9 days later or something.
Roughly about 8
or 9 days later, and they were still dropping. That morning, we saw over a dozen deer.
We were covered in deer by what, 8:30?
7, I don't even know.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, there was just deer coming from all different directions. We had deer coming up from the bottom. They were following the ridge down, coming up from the other side, and they were just coming through. They were milling around, tearing up the white oaks. They were tearing up the white oaks. A deer prefers a white oak over a red oak. They love white oaks.
Does the public know why they choose the white oak over the red oak?
Why?
Because the red oak has a lot more acid in it.
I didn't know that.
The white oak is less acid, and it's a bigger acorn.
Yeah.
And it's a little more sweeter, and that's why the deer prefer them over the red acorns. They'll eat the red acorn.
Yeah, they'll definitely eat them.
But they've got a lot more acid and they're more of a bitter taste, I guess.
Well, I didn't know that. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So so what we're saying is they do prefer the white oaks. I didn't know why, but now I do. So we came back today. Today is about 5 weeks later than the last time we were here. We came in this morning. We checked the spy point camera. We had deer up until like the 6th or 5th. How do I get a nocturnal buck to come in light? Jacob Carr.
Oh man, that's, there's a lot of things you can do, but I guess probably the best thing for you to do is I would make a couple scrapes, and I'd get a dripper where it's going to drip daytime only.
I was going to say, see if you can figure out why that deer is nocturnal, whether it's too much pressure, if you're hunting the area too much.
It could be.
You know what I mean? If you're hunting the area too much, a lot of times check the surrounding area. You see if you have a hunting pressure from other areas that are creating that deer to be nocturnal.
It's very possible.
But
with
that said, nocturnal deer, like all my cameras now, are pretty much nocturnal pictures. it's just that time of year to where it's just warm, you know. They're just at nighttime making territory scrapes, things like that. It's just that time of year. It happens every year.
Yep.
You know, deer just kind of transition into more nighttime. You know, we're into hunting season. They're getting pressure. You know, they're changing things up and they're just going nocturnal.
Well, if if you think about it, the Maryland season opens up. You've got 2 tough months. You know, you've got September. It's still warm all the way through September, and it's still warm in October.
Right.
You know, and even if it was, say if it was 10 degrees cooler every day and 20 degrees cooler at night, obviously your deer are going to be moving more at night than they would be during the day. But you've got this thing that actually Dave and I were talking about this morning, this October lull. I don't necessarily believe in it. I mean, I think that's, it's got some facts to it, but like we're talking about today, we're talking about the acorns. Well, unfortunately on my property, I don't have a
additional food source. I don't have anything. I don't have the area to put a food plot in. So, the deer have moved from the acorns to wherever they're finding the food. Right, and that's what we're talking about. Is 5-6 weeks ago we had all these acorns. The deer just funneled through here. I mean,
It was crazy.
It was great. They were just tearing them up. So, if you still have acorns falling in your area, look for white oaks. They prefer them. Find those white oaks. But what do you do when the acorns are gone? Like the situation we just experienced this morning, is the property, I mean, it is cleaned up. I mean, there is some red acorns, red oaks.
And they'll eat them.
They'll eat them. There's still some there, but as far as the white oaks go, I mean, they're gone. So, some might be thinking, it's common sense, but you have to then change your tactics a little bit and transition off the acorns and go back to your main route earlier in the season,
right,
before the acorns actually started dropping, whether that's standing corn, if you guys are baiting deer with corn, if you have a food plot, beans, whatever,
natural browse,
if you guys still have some natural browse left, you kind of have to transition off of the acorns. Because do y'all think the rut is going to start early this year? Jacob Carr.
I don't believe so.
I don't think you can really predict it. I mean, there's a lot of people that predict it, and 100%. There's so many different factors, though.
There are, but I look at it as your first cold snap.
Right.
What you have to remember is the whole rut is triggered by the pituitary gland in the deer's head, and that is triggered by the moon phase. The less light there is during the day and the colder that it gets is actually what triggers the rut. The deer just don't decide, hey, it's time to mate.
Right.
It's a thing that progresses through the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's built up.
Yep. Well, and like I said, like he's saying, there's also so many different factors.
Exactly.
Pressure, cold snaps, buck to doe ratio. You can have, say, there's a road right down to our left here. We can have a hardcore rut on this side of the road.
Exactly.
And you might not see nothing over there. It depends wherever that hot doe is. And also, if you have too many does, the bucks don't have to travel far to find them.
There's no competition.
Right. And in areas that you can manage, that's why, when you have a big farm that you can manage, the rut is typically stronger there than it would be, say public land or, an area where it's not really managed, because you got all these does that are coming into heat, and the bucks, they don't, they walk 100 yards, 200 yards, there's a hot doe, and if he locks up with her, I mean, you're done.
Exactly.
So that's why it's important to always shoot does.
Got to shoot the does, guys.
Right. And I always try to shoot them earlier in the season. That's just what I like to do, because you got to think later in the season if that deer was bred. Saw 2 eating acorns this morning hunting with Preston. Preston, were those white oaks or were they red oaks?
Red oaks.
Let me know. So, like I said, there's so many different factors. Hunting pressure, and the rut may be strong, but it may be at nighttime.
Exactly.
Depending on temperature, mood, pressure, moon phase. I said mood. Pressure, you know, all those factors come into together, and so to say the rut's going to be early, I mean, I pretty much gave up on Maryland rut because those have horns, right?
Yeah, I've heard of that before.
Yeah, some do.
Some do.
What was I saying?
The
acorns.
Yeah,
No.
I don't necessarily think it's going to be an early rut. I don't think it's going to be a late rut.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a typical
white oaks.
White oaks.
Yeah,
cool.
white oaks.
I think it's going to be a typical Maryland rut, and it's going to start when it starts.
Yeah, it's going to start when it starts.
There's not any particular time frame. I mean, if it's controlled by anything, that's the moon phase. And you know, if you look into the moon phase,
Have an idea when the rut? Does anyone have an idea when the rut is in Tennessee? I mean,
I don't know. I guess you could call a Tennessee.
Probably. I mean,
You know.
roughly. If you want to hunt the rut, last week of October, first 2 weeks of November.
Exactly.
You can't.
That's when you want to be in the woods.
Right. Get your friends text you or whatever. Hey, the rut's, you know, when you start seeing rut activity, when you start seeing those deer dead on the side of the road,
Exactly.
that's when you know it's close. You know, they're starting to chase, they're starting to wander, travel more than their core area. They're starting to travel more.
Exactly.
There's dead deer on the side of the road, a cold snap, and things like that. November 7th in Iowa, Kurt. Yeah, so. Yeah, I mean, it could be the 3rd.
It could, yeah. It all depends.
Could be the 15th. You know, some years are later than others, but what I've noticed, and it's happened all over, is the later we get into the fall, the warmer it's staying.
Yeah.
You know, we are mid-October, and it's pretty warm today. It's humid, but I've hunted in November, and it's been 70 degrees, you know, 70. And
which will shut down the rut during the day.
Right. 60 degrees, 70 degrees. I mean, it's just too warm. So, but yeah, guys, we're going to wrap it up. You know, find that additional food source, you know, transition back off the acorns, leave the acorns, because most of them are pretty much cleaned up this time of year. There still may be some, depending on your state, that are still left and possibly still dropping. But we're going to change some tactics up and go from there. So thank you guys for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you guys are new, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.